Hello, this tutorial is going to introduce you to the Conferences button in Schoology. The Conferences button will allow you to hold a live online class session, and it will facilitate the recording of that class session so it can be viewed 7 days after the session has ended. The way you access the Conferences button is right within your Schoology course. On your left-hand side, you have the Conferences button. And once you click on that, you come to the Conferences window. You see an active tab and you have a completed tab up at the top. I'm going to go over the active tab first and what this allows you to do. Here you can schedule a conference by clicking on the Create New Conference button. You would label your conference with a name. I advise that you associate a date with the conference. That way it's easy for users to find when they're looking for a pre-recorded session. I would associate a date with that. I'm scheduling it for the date of today. And this session, I'm actually going to start it right at 11 a.m. I can add an end time there. Click Create, and then you're going to see your conference listed here. For any users who click on the conference button, they'll now be able to see this conference as well. I am going to click on the Start Conference button to begin that conference. But before I do that, if you notice the gear icon here, if I click on that, I'm actually able to add it or edit any start, end times, that sort of thing through the use of this button. Once I begin that Start Conference, I'm taken to the conference window. And this is where I will be able to present. I will be able to share my screen with users who are viewing. I can have a public chat ongoing as I'm presenting within the session. How would you like to join? Choose microphone. This will allow users to be able to hear you.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
If you want to mute your microphone at any point in time, you have the option to do that by going to where your name appears on the screen and clicking that button. You have the ability to mute here and also down at the bottom where you see that microphone icon. Before you begin your session, one important piece of information to remember is that users do have different abilities to create private chats. So if you want to limit the things that they're able to do so that it's not a distraction, in this users area, you will see the users that are logging on. Go to this gear icon here, and you can see that by default, all users are muted. Everyone except the presenter is muted. If you go to lock viewers, you'll see a whole nother list of rights that the users are given by default. To turn these off, you would have to click on these items. One thing I recommend is the ability to send private chat messages. I would suggest that's turned off so that it's not a distraction. If you don't want them to send any public chat messages, you would turn that off. If you don't want them to share a microphone, etc. Click Apply so that those changes could go into effect. And on the left here, you have the public chat area. If in fact you've turned this off, then I suggest you would just close this area by clicking on this arrow here. And then you have the full screen where you're going to present right in front of you. With this feature, you're able to chat, use your webcam, audio, emojis, multi-user whiteboard, screen sharing, polling, and breakout rooms. The first thing that I want to show you here is if you scroll to the next slide here, so by default you're going to have this window that appears. If you click on the next slide, then you have a blank whiteboard that you're going to be able to present from. Very important before you begin your session, up at the very top, you have the Start Recording button. Please turn that button on by clicking on it. You can select the record button again. Okay, yes. Once the button is red and it's turned on, that means the session is being recorded. This is important to turn on. The reason why is because once the session is over, students or any users who are accessing this session will be able to view the recording even though the session is not live. So, and I'll show you what that looks like in a bit, but make sure that recording is turned on so that users can access this after the session has ended. So here we have the whiteboard. On the right hand side, you have tools that you can use with the whiteboard. If I click on this hand tool there, this will allow me to see the other features that I have. The pencil, the rectangle, the triangle tool, ellipse, line, and text tool, they're all here for me to use. If I have a touchscreen device, I can easily use the pencil. You can change the color, I can change the thickness by using those buttons there. I also have the ability to turn the multi-user whiteboard on. If I want users to draw simultaneously, then you would turn that on. Otherwise, you can turn that off. Okay, so that's the whiteboard. You are able to add a presentation to your screen here by clicking on this plus sign. You can upload a presentation from your files. You can share an external video. You can drop in you would drop in a YouTube URL or any video URL that you want your users to see. You can start a poll here. This can serve as a way to check for understanding. It could be a ticket out, etc. You also have the ability to share your screen. So if you click on the share your screen button, you can actually share an application window or a Chrome tab with users, and then you would hit share. So I'm going to close that. If you want to clear out the whiteboard, you can just press this little trash can and it'll clear it out. As you're recording, everything that you are doing on the screen is recording, and it is also recording your voice as well. So that's something important to remember. When you're ready to end the session, you would actually go to your options and end your meeting there. If you want to create breakout rooms or breakout sessions for the multiple users that are in or logged on at the same time, you would go to this gear icon and create breakout rooms, and then you would just assign different users and you would designate the number of breakout rooms, and then you would assign users there. So I hope this quick tutorial is helpful. Please let us know if you have any questions. We are willing to help always. I do want to take this opportunity to go ahead and revisit the conferences area in Schoology to point out the completed area. So I'm back in my Schoology course. I've clicked on the conferences button, and now I'm going to go ahead and click on the completed button. If you notice, because I had pressed the recording button, now I'm able to see my archived sessions here, along with the play button that users would be able to access. These recordings, they are only available for 7 days, but in order to access them, they would need to go into the completed area so that they can be able to view them. As an administrator in a course, you can click the gear icon and go ahead and click delete so that you can remove those items if you no longer wish to see them there or have them available. So I hope this additional piece of information is helpful to you.